I'm gonna tell you a story. It's a story I thought I knew. Turns out, it's far more incredible than I ever imagined. It begins in one of the most remote places on Earth. There's something in these mountains that I have a special connection to. And so do you. I'm talking about gold. Woo! There's nothing else like it. A miracle of nature. Oh my God, that is heavy. Since the first civilizations, it's been a part of us, helping to build our modern world.
People were making fortunes.
Transforming entire communities.
There are ladies who are miners and production supervisors.
And even the way they're powered. I'm on a journey to discover how our love of gold began.
This is the true meaning of the beginning of jewelry and hip-hop music.
What we're prepared to do to get it. So we're going down.
So there you go.
Whoa. And why we need it.
That is a lot of gold.
I want to discover the human story of gold, how it shapes us and our world. So, Pascal, why are we out here in the middle of nowhere?
The area we're on is one of the highest concentration of gold that we have in Canada and probably in the world.
Locals call this part of Quebec the Val d'Or, or Valley of Gold. And I'm on my way to one of Canada's biggest mines, La Ronde.
La Ronde is one of the deepest and the most challenging mine in Canada.
And how deep does it go down?
This one is 3.2 kilometers. It's one of the longest single shaft in the world.
Look, I'm going to tell you, I'm a little claustrophobic, so I'm a little nervous about going 3 kilometers into the earth, but I'm sort of really intrigued to see how it's done. Deep in the Canadian wilderness, La Ronde Mine is one serious operation. To see how they get the gold out, I'm going into the sprawling underground world that lies far beneath. Smaller than I thought. I thought it was going to be bigger.
Well, actually, normally we fit 20 to 25 people in this deck.
25 people?
Yes.
In here?
Yeah, it's squeezed.
My guide is Pascal Larouche. He's worked at La Ronde for over 17 years.
So we're gone now.
We're going down.
Yeah, so we're going down at the speed of 1,500 feet per minute.
That's almost 30 kilometers an hour.
You feel stress, you feel...
You know, it's just that, it's the idea that we're going down into the center of the earth. Whoa. Sometimes hard to swallow, huh? It's like hard to swallow.
Yeah.
That's not a nice feeling.
We're on our way to the bottom of a hole in the ground, which is roughly as deep as 6 Empire State Buildings stacked up on top of each other.
Wow. I've done some crazy stuff in my life, but I've never been 3 kilometers down into the earth before.
Oh, level 278. Here we go. Thanks, Mark.
Out at last. But our journey deep into the earth is only just beginning. To get to the gold, we have to grab a ride and go even deeper.
So we're going down.
Underground, the mine is connected by over 30 kilometers of roads, wide enough to handle huge, great trucks.
It's getting warmer.
Yes, it is.
I can actually feel the heat, you know?
After that bumpy ride, I was hoping to see a bit of gold, but it looks, well, a bit grey. Thankfully, we can do something about that. Running through the rock is a seam, rich in zinc and copper, with a bit of silver and tiny amounts of gold. But there's only one way to get at it. Once the rock, known as ore, is blasted, it's cut down to size.
Wow. So how do they send it to surface?
There's a conveyor who bring the ore all the way up to the
All the
shaft.
way up?
Yeah.
Wow.
At the surface, the gold is separated from the ore through chemical extraction. It's then heated in a furnace to over 1,000 degrees Celsius.
Wow. Look how hot that is.
Despite we're maybe 20 feet away, can feel the heat.
Yeah. So it's so exciting. It's so exciting. It's the first time I've ever seen gold being poured. I can see it's, like you say, lava.
Yeah.
Expensive lava.
Expensive, yeah.
It's hard to comprehend what I'm seeing. How did this come from that grey old rock? It's mind-blowing. Once the gold is cooled, the bars are given a quick polish.
Is that for me?
That's for you.
Oh my God. That is heavy.
It's 21 kilo,
Oh
roughly
my God.
70% gold in it.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah,
And this is worth like, what, $1 million?
yeah, worth $1 million US.
That is amazing.
Until I saw it with my own eyes, I never really gave much thought to where gold comes from, how it's produced, and who benefits. So, my wedding ring. To get this much gold would have taken us several tons of rock. So the thing I'm left wondering is, what is it about gold that's got us so hooked?
For every Indian wedding, gold is a very essential element. Gold enhances the beauty of a woman. It also shows purity. If you look at the pictures of the Indian goddesses, she'll be wearing gold immensely. My name is Sri Ganga, and today is my wedding day. Me and Ruben met through a mutual friend. I found him to be a very handsome man inside and out. So we thought about sharing our lives together. And now I'm here getting married to him.
Some of the gold that the bride wears has been passed down through the generations, bringing both good luck and financial security.
During the wedding, he ties a knot that is done through a tali or Mangal Sutra.
The moment that Nripin ties the Mangal Sutra around her neck, they're married. It's a moment we can understand and relate to. And there it is, at the heart of the occasion, gold. Nothing else would do, right? There is no other metal like it. Its warmth, its feel, its unique yellow luster. Cultures and faiths across the world have long revered it as sacred. Gold. It's pretty powerful stuff, but there's another kind of power that gold symbolizes. In the heart of modern-day Ghana is the cradle of a great kingdom built on gold. Preparations are underway for an important event. A display of how gold is still very much at the heart of their culture. So, this is Kumasi, Ghana, home of the Ashanti tribe. My parents, my mom is from Ghana and part of the Ga tribe, so there's a very special meaning for me being here in Ghana. There's also a very, very deep gold story here, and I want to find out more about it. The Ashanti Kingdom emerged just over 300 years ago. And, thanks to its vast reserves of gold, became one of West Africa's most powerful dynasties. So today is the very special Ashanti Akwesi Day festival. I've been honored to be asked to be part of the procession, and it is an honor. So, I have to wear something appropriate to meet the king, and I'm meeting someone who's going to help me.
Hello,
Mr.
Idris.
How are you?
You are welcome.
Nice to
Happy
meet you.
to see you here.
Very good. Wow.
Yeah.
So, you have everything here?
Yes, I have everything. Here is the cloth I've chosen for you.
Wow, this is beautiful, huh?
Yes.
How long does it take to make something like this?
This would take about 3 months.
So I wear this
Yes.
across my skin?
Yes.
Okay.
Then we'll put these ornaments on you.
So this is the jewelry that I should wear? huh?
Yes.
Okay. So who gets to wear the most gold?
Otumfo, and then the Hene.
So Otumfo is the king.
Yes, Otumfo is the king.
Hene.
They are the chiefs, yes.
Okay, so nobody wears more gold than the king?
When you are with the king, you have to come down because you are going to the king. Yes.
Calm down.
Yes, yes.
Can I take a sword or no swords?
No, you won't take the sword. Only the chiefs.
They look good though.
Yeah.
All right.
So you only wear the cloth and then the ornaments.
The Akwasi Day festival celebrates the lives and deeds of past rulers by bringing together all of the kingdom's tribes. I've heard it was a big deal, but this is something else. There must be thousands here, and the noise is deafening. Now we're all assembled, it's time for the main event. The arrival of the Asantehene, King Otumfuo Osetutu II. And his entrance leaves little doubt as to who the boss is around here. The Ashanti have an old saying, that is, gold is king. And they're not kidding. In fact, I've never seen anyone wearing so much gold. But this isn't some crude display of wealth. Each item of gold is laden with meaning. These gold staffs, carried by the king's spokesman, represent old Ashanti fables. Elaborate gold swords symbolize the courage and strength of the Ashanti nation, while the king's solid gold bracelets signify his personal authority. The Ashanti believe their king wields divine power, and the festival is an opportunity for his chiefs to show their loyalty and give their thanks for his dedication to improving the region's prosperity. One by one, they come forward and bow before the king. It's only a brief moment, but it feels almost sacred. And then, well, I'm called. Now look, I don't get stage fright, but this, well, this was kind of nerve-wracking.
Yes. Okay. Hello, hello. I'm so good. How are you? Idris, Elba. Pleasure. You know, I'm Ghanaian myself, and it's just an honor to be here with you. But thank you so much.
It's rare to be granted a personal audience with the king. So to meet the great man is a genuine honor.
I can't honestly believe that I'm here. And the king greeted me, you know, like a prince. You gotta understand, in Ashanti, gold isn't just to have gold and have money. It represents a spiritual, it represents a deep history, and it's to be treated with respect.
One thing's for sure, gold transformed the Ashanti kingdom and economy. It's a story that has played out across the world. Sierra Nevada, California. In 1848, in the gravel of the American River, a sawmill worker spotted something incredible. The glint of gold. Within a year, the news shot right around the world, triggering the gold rush. An event that was to transform California. There was a small village on the coast of California. It was called Yerba Buena. It's now known as San Francisco. It was very different back then. So, let's start at the beginning, over 170 years ago. Hundreds of large ships arrive from across the Americas, Europe, and China. Most are abandoned as their crews leave for the gold fields. The ships left behind are buried, creating foundations for a new settlement, the central hub for gold prospectors. Houses, churches, stores, and factories spring up across the bay. But fires and earthquakes mean the city is constantly rebuilt. So barely any physical signs of the gold rush survive. Until a remarkable discovery. Off the eastern coast of the United States, and a mile down on the seabed, explorers discovered a shipwreck. The SS Central America, which sank in 1857.
The ship was carrying more than $3 million in gold at the time. And you have to convert that to today's dollars, which is some monster number in the hundreds of millions, maybe even into the billions. Nearly 600 gold ingots were recovered from the SS Central America, and they are remarkable. The value of gold on the ship is one thing, but there's an incalculable, unquestionable value that is priceless, and that's history.
In a secret location, historian and geologist Fred Hollibird has hundreds of precious artifacts recovered from the ship. From gold to everyday items, giving us a new insight into what it was like to be living through the gold rush.
These are well-used work pants. Today, you kind of call them jeans. But the thing that stands out the most is this 5-button pattern, which is so standard on the pants made by Levi Strauss Company, today known as Levi's.
This could be the oldest surviving pair of Levi's, dating back to the gold rush. The miners needed tough-wearing clothes, and Levi's sold in their thousands.
Mr. Strauss became what I consider the most successful of all California gold rush businessmen by far.
Mr. Strauss made his wealth from the gold rush without finding a single fleck of gold.
A gold rush isn't just for the gold. Imagine the lack of supplies. You're trying to get a shovel, you're trying to get a gold pan. You know, we have every type of merchant that you can think of. People were making often fortunes.
Many of the passengers on board had grown wealthy through the boom of the gold rush.
The SS Central America had a fair bit of jewelry from the passengers, and we've got a remarkable scene here, a specifically engraved gold watch case with a miner loaded with his mining supplies.
And with the help of gold pumping the equivalent of $2 billion a year into the region, the economy of California boomed. And at the center of it all was the rapidly growing port of San Francisco. It's incredible to think that the entire city of San Francisco came about as a result of finding a few nuggets of gold at the bottom of a river. The gold rush transformed California. It transformed America. I think it's fair to say it transformed the world. It marked a new era. Prospectors traveled the globe. Now, gold mining became big business all over the world. And then, at the end of the 19th century, the mother of all gold finds. It's lovely here, isn't it? It wasn't always like this, though. 2 billion years ago, the biggest known meteor strike in Earth's history happened right here. The only visible remnants of this catastrophic event are these hills. The impact shook the planet so violently that gold was pushed towards the surface. This is where the story of South African gold begins. Fast forward a couple of billion years, and on a site nearby, prospectors struck gold. Back then, it was open farmland. Today, we call it Johannesburg. Mines sprang up all around. To turn a profit, the owners wanted a large but cheap labor force. So, new regulations came in that pressurized black workers to leave their farms and go down the mines. I remember as a kid growing up in the 80s seeing images of miners from South Africa. You know, the strikes, apartheid, and I always wondered what their lives were actually like. So now, today, I'm going to actually find out. One of the first gold mining companies in Johannesburg was Crown Mines, where I'm meeting Franz Bellini. A miner during the apartheid years, Franz eventually became General Secretary of the National Union of Mine Workers. So Franz, is this the type of lift you used to go to work in?
No, the one we used was much bigger.
Bigger?
A deck takes about 50 people.
50 people in one?
In one deck, and there will be 3 decks, so that's 150 people at a time.
And how deep did you go?
I was going up 3.6 kilometers underground in seconds. It takes seconds to get underground.
Seconds?
Not minutes, seconds.
It must have been warm.
Just very hot. Sometimes goes to 50 degrees Celsius.
To my relief, this mine is just a bit cooler. Hi.
Hello.
How are you? Crown Mines is no longer active, but in its heyday, it employed thousands, including Nelson Mandela, who worked here as a security guard. Mind your head, low-hanging wall. That's for me, not for you. So, Fran, what was the working conditions like? Were you looked after? I mean, we're talking about the 70s, yeah?
Yeah. The era of apartheid, we were not really looked after. We were almost like slaves because what they needed is your labor, nothing else.
What time did you start work?
You used to start at 4 a.m.
You worked 5 days a week?
We work 6 days a week. You work for 12 hours, but on condition that you finish your job. If it happens for some delays because of support system, you did not finish your job, it might be more than 12 hours.
Really?
Yep.
Did you have breaks?
No, there's no breaks, there's no lunch. Underground, no.
There's no hiding from the fact that gold mining played a major part in shaping South African society during the apartheid years. But with gold comes power. And those gold miners, they knew that. In 1987, over 300,000 black miners went on strike over pay and conditions, bringing gold production to a standstill for 3 weeks. Franz was one of their leaders.
It shocked the industry because it was the first time that black workers in an organized form can take so many days on a strike.
And then after the 21-day strike, could you sense a difference? Could you feel that apartheid was on its way out?
After the strike, it sent a clear message to then National Party that the clock is ticking. Remember, the economy was lying around gold. So we actually touched the engine room of the economy of the apartheid government at that time. So gold miners used their gold power to fight apartheid.
Wow, that's really powerful, eh? So deep mining for gold back then doesn't sound much fun. Nope.
30 years after the end of apartheid, it's a different world. So I wonder what mining is like now. South Deep Mine, just outside Johannesburg, is one of the deepest in the world. But it's what's not underground that makes this mine so unusual. This might look like a regular dump truck until you realize there's no driver. You see, the really cool thing about South Deep,
Hello, hi.
is that unlike a traditional underground mine, much of its heavy machinery is operated remotely, 3 kilometers up on the surface.
Hello, I'm Idris.
I'm Madeleine.
Nice to meet you, nice to meet you. How long have you been can I call you a miner? Are you a miner?
Yes, I'm a miner.
But this doesn't look like mining.
Kind of crowd.
This doesn't look like traditional mining. Have you ever been in traditional mining?
Yes, I did. I was an operator before. I was driving that big dump trucks.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So now I moved to the control room to operate, which means I've moved with the technology.
These consoles look like something out of a gamer's paradise.
So talk me through what you're doing exactly.
This is a tele-remote rock breaker. This joystick is controlling the boom, and then it also controlling the hammer.
This is like playing computer games,
Yeah.
right?
South Deep's owners began the switch to automated mining back in 2018. Since then, they have mined more gold, more safely. And that's not all. There are black South Africans in key positions, like general manager and head of operations. And a lot more women.
Mining industry was male dominant. So these days is a gender balance. There are ladies who are miners, crew leaders, and then the production supervisors.
That's great. So do you prefer being here or down there?
I'll prefer to be here.
Of course.
Yes.
It's fascinating to see how skills have changed. But there's something else gold mines can't do without. You see, a deep mine like this needs a lot of energy, enough to power a small town. But South Africa relies on old coal power stations that keep breaking down. Bad for business and bad for the environment. So, South Deep lobbied the government to allow them to build the country's first large-scale industrial solar plant. It provides about a quarter of the mine's needs. And it might even be the trigger for a step change in the way South Africa uses renewables. But what do you do when there's no mains power at all? Will it ever be possible to run a whole mine using just renewable energy? In the heart of Africa is one of the continent's largest gold mines. Kibali. Every day, a workforce of over 6,000 mine 20,000 tons of ore from above and below ground.
Power is the big driver of any production in any industry. My name is Arthur Kabila. I'm the general manager of Kibali Gold Mine. The big challenges that we are having to build the mine in very remote area where we don't have the national grids.
So, you're in the middle of the wilderness, nothing for hundreds of miles. And you need to find power, not just to charge your phone, but enough to power a small town. The answer was lying on their doorstep. Carving through the forest is the Kibali River, stretching for 1,000 kilometers. So they decided to harness the natural power of the river. They built 3 small hydroelectric dams. The cascading water turns the turbines, which generate electricity.
The advantage of the hydropower is that this is a very clean energy and it's a cheap one.
And this renewable energy is capable of providing more than 80% of the mine's power. But for many of the locals, that's not the best part.
It's not only the mine using this power, we also giving the power to the community surrounding this mine.
Now you're talking. The Kibali mine has literally given power to the people.
The mine has a very, very big economical impact in the community and in the region as well.
From the comforts of modern life to production lines.
It's something which will remain for years, for generations, even if the mine is closed, but at least we will leave those hydropower stations to Congolese.
This infrastructure, built to power the mine, will be here long after it's closed. But already, this gold mine has transformed the local economy and the lives of the people who live here. In just 11 years, the population of Kibali has jumped from 50,000 to 500,000. And who knows, maybe one day, Kibali will become known as the San Francisco of the DRC. Wow, that is some legacy. But I'm wondering, when the gold runs out, what happens to the mine itself? One thing's for sure, there's going to be an awful lot of tidy up. So, is it possible to turn back the clock? Well, it might just be. New Zealand's South Island has some of the most dramatic and varied landscapes on Earth. Mountains, fjords, glaciers. One of its most beautiful spots is Victoria Forest Park, the largest conservation park in New Zealand. A go-to destination for anyone who wants to get close to nature. But there's something else that's special about this landscape. Gold. Reefton Mine, just next to the park, produced over 17 tons of gold in just 9 years. But on opening this mine, a commitment was made that when it eventually closed, the mining company would return the site back to nature.
I'll be heading up the main access road. As someone who loves fishing and hiking with the dog and just loves the environment, I never really thought I'd end up working on a mine on the west coast. And I guess my perception was that it was always a bit of a damaging industry.
Megan Williams is part of a team working to reverse any impact that mining at Reefton has had on the environment. When the mine closed in 2016, their first task was to fill the main pit, to turn it into a lake. It's nice, but it still looks like a mine to me.
One of the really cool things that we've got going on site at the moment is the hydro-seeding of the pit walls.
Hydro-seeding is a process used for rapidly planting large areas of inaccessible land. It can be done either from a truck or a helicopter.
So a good day in the office, I'd say.
Oh yeah, all that water's nice and blue in there.
Hanging from the helicopter,
here it comes,
is a monsoon bucket, which carries everything needed to recreate life on the cliff face.
climbing left.
Copy that, thanks Matt.
It's really just gardening, but supersized. Since the restoration project began, the landscape has been rapidly transformed. Vast new bodies of fresh water have been created. Thousands of trees are now growing and will spread across the site. Now, it's up to nature to take over.
We're starting to see different bird life, so native pied stilt, different ducks, we're hearing frogs, seeing some snails in the water, and it's really awesome to see.
Wow. There you go. Reminds us we've only got one planet. But it's not just the environment the gold industry can have an impact on. It can also affect us. This convoy is on a mission to fight what is public enemy number one for roughly half the world's population. Malaria. Now I know what you're thinking. What's that got to do with gold? Well, these trucks have driven from the headquarters of the local gold mine. Its managers noticed how many of the mining community were coming down with malaria. One of the team's leaders is Isaac Kwatiapia.
Out of the workforce of 8,000 employees, every month you had about 6,800 of these employees and their dependents reporting to the mine hospital for malaria. And so the mine decided to establish a malaria control program.
Today, the team is in the village of Adansi Domabra.
Safety.
They have one task: to stop malaria in its tracks.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
The patrol malaria control. I think you do more about this film.
The patrol you.
To combat the mosquitoes, the strategy is to target their resting places. The team covers every wall with insecticide. Malaria cases peak during the rainy season. And with that just a few weeks away, the team works fast to treat as many homes and villages as possible. But they're not using any old insect spray. Back at mine headquarters, in a specially built lab, scientists are developing new insecticides that target local strains of mosquito. The results have been impressive. Head of the project is Sam Asiadu.
When the program started in 2006, the first 2 years, we were expecting about 50% reduction in malaria cases. But we went way beyond that. In 2 years, there was 74% reduction in malaria cases.
This local initiative, started and funded by the mine, has become so successful, it is now a country-wide program backed by international organizations. It protects over 1 million Ghanaians annually. The vast majority of them entirely unconnected to the gold industry.
I hope to see a world without malaria. Malaria elimination is possible, and it's possible within our lifetime.
Who would have thought that one initiative from a local gold mine to tackle a disease that affects people all over the world might have the potential to eradicate it forever? I feel like I'm starting to understand how our relationship with gold is evolving. How we mine it has changed dramatically. But what about the way we actually use gold? What you may not have realized is that gold is already saving lives globally. It may have even saved yours. Recognize these? Lateral flow tests aren't only used for COVID. They're also used to detect potentially life-threatening conditions from malaria to HIV. And the secret ingredient? Minute nanoparticles of gold, which are responsible for producing that telltale red color in a positive test. And that's only one small part of gold's high-tech future. So here's how it breaks down. Every year, around 10% of gold demand is used in tech industries. Phones and computers all use gold wires and coatings, which improve reliability. Gold's amazing reflectivity makes it perfect for space exploration. And looking into the future, super-fast quantum computers are going to need gold to keep them cool. And then, around half is used in jewelry. So how about the rest? Where does it all end up? A stone's throw from where I grew up is the Square Mile, London's financial district. They say the streets are paved with gold, and that isn't as far-fetched as it sounds. How you doing? Yes, I did just walk straight into the Bank of England, the world's second largest depository of gold bullion. I've got an appointment with the bank's chief cashier, one of the very few people with access to its vaults. Sarah John. Hi, Sarah.
Good morning, Idris. Welcome to the Bank of England.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm looking for some gold.
Am I? Let's go this way.
Now, for obvious reasons, I can't reveal our route. What I can reveal is that I followed Sarah deep underground. Until we reached what is without doubt the thickest steel door I have ever seen. Okay, Sarah, don't worry, I do all my own stunts.
It's a pretty heavy door, isn't it?
Nah, not really, it's all right. Right, after you.
So there you go.
Whoa.
Your first glimpse of the Bank of England's gold.
That is a lot of gold. This is really unreal.
What do you think?
That takes your breath away. This is like Raiders of the Lost Ark. About 30% of the world's gold is held in professional vaults just like this. Okay, Sarah, I mean, how much gold is here?
This is one of 9 gold vaults that we have here at the bank. There's about 400,000 gold bars stored here, and collectively they're worth about £250 billion, something like that.
What?
I know, it's a lot, isn't it?
So, I've got to ask the question, like, why do we have this here? How did it turn into, okay, the bank needs to hold this much gold? What was the process like? Take me back.
So obviously gold's been used for quite a number of years as a form of money. First of all, gold coins themselves. But the problem with gold coins is they're actually quite heavy to carry around.
Can't flip it, like.
Exactly. So what people started to do was they would take their gold coins to a goldsmith, and the goldsmith would issue them with an IOU.
Okay.
And over time, people realised that actually using those IOUs to pay for goods and services was actually easier than actually going and getting the gold and lugging it around.
Okay.
And those IOUs eventually developed into what we now know as banknotes.
That's fascinating, isn't it? See this? Just there? That's Sarah's signature, with the words, "I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £20. It's just an IOU. But these days, the Bank of England plays an even bigger role. Holding gold for the world. So why do countries want to store their gold here?
Countries have what are called reserves, so basically savings that they can draw on when they need to, because gold holds its value very well in a time of crisis.
Right.
And it's really easy to buy and sell here in London, and that supports financial stability.
And there was such a crisis not so very long ago. On the 26th of December 2004, there was a massive tsunami in the Indian Ocean. It devastated communities in Thailand and Banda Aceh in Indonesia. But in Aceh, there was something unusual about the community that helped it to recover. You see, most people didn't have saving accounts. Instead, they had gold ingots and jewelry, which meant they could quickly use it as collateral and start putting their lives back together. And it's a bit like that on the global scale too. Countries worldwide hold a lot of gold, so that when disaster strikes, they have reliable funds they can fall back on. Gold is still our safest store of value. That's the thing about gold. It's real, you can touch it, and it holds its value. I mean, there's no sticking one in your pocket and getting out of here, is there? Your trousers will be down your ankles. But for me, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone here, the best thing about gold is being able to wear it. Gold has always been a favorite for the world's most famous faces. And today, we're still finding original ways of using it to express ourselves. Abtin Abbasi, or ABS for short, is part of a new wave in jewelry that began with hip-hop. So I'm keen to understand, like, do they call you Abs the Jeweler? Because I've heard that in rap verses everywhere.
A Jewelers is the brand. I'm originally Iranian. Came to the UK when I was around 2 years old. Humble beginnings, and kind of went into what I really enjoyed doing from a young age. Hip-hop jewelry.
Because you're like basically the jeweler that a lot of the rappers come to.
Yeah.
So this piece, it's the rope chain. It's famous. Like, I remember being in the 80s and seeing Run DMC rocking one of these. What does this mean to you, like, this chain?
This is the true meaning of the beginning of jewelry and hip-hop music.
Gold rope chains were the jewelry item of choice for many hip-hop artists. And the bigger, the better. Sure, they were ostentatious, but that was also kind of the point.
It just looked insane. It made me want to have jewelry, have a big chain, have something intricate and design something for myself. It was kind of like a symbol of status kind of thing, showing power. And when you get to a certain point where you've made a bit of money, you want to
wear something that shows that what you've reached is like a goal.
Exactly.
These things, even though they mean a lot to the artist, but they actually carry the weight of the money that they...
100%.
That, like, you know, it's not like it's ever going to depreciate.
100%. It's the same thing buying gold, they're investments.
Now look, I don't want to worry you, but experts say we've already mined 80% of the world's gold that's accessible. So, where is all the new gold going to come from? Centuries ago, many risked their lives to explore South America in search of El Dorado, the mythical city of gold. If only they knew what we do. Cajamarca is a bit of a modern-day El Dorado, lying at the center of a gold-rich region in the magnificent Andes Mountains. It's a mountain range that geologist Denise Kisby knows well.
I am leading one of the biggest projects in South America to find new reserves of gold. This is very exciting because we can discover something new every day.
That's thanks to new technology, which means that today Denise is able to find gold hidden deep inside the rocks of these mountains. So while prospectors of old had to get on their mules and go panning in search of gold, today we don't even have to touch the rock. Satellites a few hundred miles above the Earth take infrared photographs that hold clues to the rock structure of the mountains and where the gold might be.
And with a satellite image, we can try to figure out gold deposit. For example, you can see these red areas, and it's very important for the gold exploration.
Denise and her team are traveling deep into the mountains to take core samples from the hotspot highlighted by the satellite.
The core that we get from drilling comes here to the core shaft, and this orange gun can identify the minerals that we have in the core.
Just by zapping the samples with infrared and visible light, the gun is able to detect crucial minerals that strongly point to the presence of gold. Gold is still hard to find, which I guess is why it holds its value. But by analyzing hundreds of locations identified from space, Denise can precisely pinpoint the most promising sites. Naturally, that's great news for the mining company, but it could also transform the prospects of the people living in this region.
Nowadays, we understand the community and the social works are so important.
What has really surprised me about this story is how we look to gold for so many different things. Meaning, beauty, community, power, health, technology, and of course, financial security. They are all part of our relationship with this beautiful, seductive metal. So, the story of gold. To me, it's really a love story. Like all romances, it's had its ups and its downs. But just like the element itself, I have a hunch that our relationship with gold is going to be around for a long, long time.